Other interesting cultural news, you have Russell Brand. His supporters do not believe the mainstream media trying to cancel him. Now, it looks like Russell Brand is a British comedian and apparently used to be a very promiscuous leftist, as politically speaking. And back then, the mainstream media loved this guy. He was everywhere, as popular as he could possibly be. And he apparently claims, I guess at the time, he claimed to be proudly who have slept with 1,000 women, and he said it was all consensual. Now, it looks like, what was it, 15 years later, well, some of them are starting to change their tune. It looks like 4 women claim that he took advantage of them. Granted, one of them specified and said, well, I thought it was consensual, then days later I changed my mind. And then 15 years later they changed their mind. Or they continue that mind path, I suppose. So it looks like, I believe one has come forward in terms of using their name, and can't help but notice the timing of this situation. So I believe one happened 15 years ago, one happened 16 and 17 years ago, and no one said anything back then. The media never covered it. And can't help but notice now that he's more of an independent journalist. Many people would say he's politically independent, libertarian, maybe on the right, depending on the topic. He's gained a lot of heat for covering things like the pharmaceutical industries and calling them out on their shortcomings. Many people are speculating that one reason alone may be one of the things that is getting him culturally canceled. Now, it looks like YouTube immediately, just the allegations coming forth, no hard evidence yet. Now, interestingly enough, it appears one of the girls did get I believe this word gets me demonetized anyway, but we're almost demonetized. We'll get there soon. One of the girls took a R-word kit, and apparently there's evidence somewhere. I have no idea how long the evidence stays fresh, but just with the allegations, like right now, he has not had his day in court to defend himself, but nowadays, unfortunately, the United States has devolved so much, you're just immediately canceled. Guilty beyond reasonable doubt off the bat. Instead of being innocent until proven guilty, the United States is continuing to devolve, culturally speaking, into guilty until proven innocent. And even if you are proven innocent, your life is still destroyed. Very similar to how Americans used to all believe, I might not agree with what you're saying, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it. Another foundation of America presumably crumbling and eviscerating to nothing, unfortunately. Now, YouTube immediately demonetized him. So he can't make any of his money on the YouTube. And presumably that's a majority of his income. I know he still does stand-up comedy as well. But on that note, Paramount Plus pulled his special from their platform. And oddly enough, so 2 entertainment companies dropped, his agent dropped him as well. Now, YouTube, he didn't break any of their rules. They just dropped him just because of the image. Just because all the headlines, basically. Now, interestingly enough, in terms of the hypocrisy of YouTube, and again, that's a never-ending topic I could cover in nauseum, but Cardi B is still on YouTube making money. Now, granted, she is one of the most famous musicians. I kind of cringe just saying that. She's, what's a nice way of saying morally vacuous as well as intelligently vacuous as well. Well, that's not too shabby. But she actually brags openly and publicly about drugging men and stealing from them and being a prostitute. Which is presumably why she is lauded by the media, because they love promiscuity and they think it's empowerment. Just like the song WAP, which, from my perspective, owning a tech company, I thought was about wireless access points. Because we sell wireless access points all the time. But nevertheless, that was not what the song was about. I was horrified to find. And interestingly enough, she's still on the platform making money. Even though she broke the law. She drugged people and robbed them. Yet, society thinks, oh yeah, that's great. That's empowerment. Go. You go, girl, as they would cliché-ly say. Now, Russell Brand did have a quick rebuttal, or rather, he came out with a quick note. And it's only about 2.5 minutes. So I thought it'd be helpful to play it for a little bit. In terms of how big he is on YouTube, he has over 6.64 million subscribers. That's huge. he easily makes, I would venture to say, a very good living off of his broadcasting ability on YouTube. So now apparently he can still post on the platform, but he can't make any money off of it. Which, if that's your main mode of income, it seems like they're trying to hurt him, obviously, some might say. So without too much further ado, we will play Mr. Russell Brand.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff, like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan, when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world.
Very true. When he took ivermectin, they immediately went into the dark treasure trove of Joe Rogan content to try to find some things that made him look bad. They actually even edited the actual image of Joe Rogan to make him look sick. So CNN famously changed the tint of Joe Rogan's skin to make him look sick when he was taking the ivermectin and he was saying he was feeling better.
Using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth, Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters.
Of all the things he is most certainly not right wing. He might have one or two opinions that fall more right of center, but I would say he's much more libertarian overall.
The people I know for ages and ages, it's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
Now, he released that statement a little over 5 days ago, got 2.1 million views and 167,000 likes.
You can make it.
Good old YouTube.
Hello there, you Awakening.
I swear, YouTube is like a broken tool in many ways. Now, it looks like the feedback in terms of the top comments, you have one of the top ones coming in from Evil Bluetooth, saying, quote, "The UK government's letter to Rumble trying to get your income revoked is bloody sickening," unquote. That person got 510 likes. Other top comments include Matthew Clifton saying, quote, "Glad to know Rumble is pushing back against the injustice of trial by media. Everyone has the right to presumption of innocence and the right to legal process," unquote. That person got 161 likes. You have somebody by the name of Daz Bilved saying, quote, "As terrible as it is, I expected this years ago. Here in the Netherlands, the government wants to close a public TV station and a political party. It's happening everywhere. But the more they go crazy, the more people wake up. Hang in there. And by the way, I hope to work with you someday. I'm working on a movie script and I and will be needing a director for when the time comes. Another one by the name of Xana27 saying, quote, "It's happening in my country too. Every brave speaker for truth gets defamed. It's the modern version of assassination," unquote. Which, I can't help but think that's absolutely true. Back in the day, they would just have you whacked, as the mob might say, or a Chicago resident might say. And these days, they really don't have to. All they have to do is accuse you of something, and you'll lose everything. The United States is infamous for, you could lose, not just lose your job if someone claims you're racist, you'll lose your friends, your family, any opportunity to get a new job. You are socially ostracized in seconds, regardless of evidence in many cases. Which is ironic. People say the United States is so racist, and yet when people think it is real, in an instance with an individual, they ostracize them immediately. Which I would argue says the United States is not racist, but it's just my 3 cents. Other top comments coming from Thomas Axford 2140 saying, quote, "Honestly, dude, it's surprising it's taking them this long to try to shut you down. For me and many people who follow your content, it is just a sign that you are on the right track. Stay strong, brother," unquote. This person got 26,000 views, or rather, more accurately, they got 26,000 likes for that specific comment. And I'm trying to see if there are any negative or pejorative comments from this video. Many people are saying, "Stay strong, we admire you." Just a Turtle Chad saying, quote, "The more Russell Brand gets targeted by all news outlets, the more I believe him," unquote. Got 370 likes on that comment. I think there are a lot of parallels. Can't help but think of also the Brett Kavanaugh case, or when he was trying to get nominated for the Supreme Court, and everyone came out of the woodwork with, regardless of evidence, well, there was none, but they all accused him of the most horrific things a human could possibly do. And culturally speaking, he was canceled. He still got the job, thankfully, but in terms of the public discord and the public appearance and perception, they all believed he was the most evil person on the planet because of the unfounded accusations. Now, interestingly enough, the people who are the victims of these types of accusations, they're just all the same political affiliation. They're all in the middle or on the right. I can't help but notice we're not seeing any of these hit pieces on the opposite side of the political aisle. Is that coincidence? Now, I would venture to say no, but let me know in the comments. Do you think, one, is this a true coordinated attack against Russell Brand, or do you think it's legitimate? I mean, again, these allegations are, one's 15 years ago, I believe one is 16, one's 17 years ago. And media loved him. And all of a sudden, now he's doing his own thing, starting to question a lot of the mainstream media, He's also not a fan of the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and the United States giving them over $100 billion. So that's another thing that he's going against the grain in regards to mainstream media coverage and opinion. Can't help but think it's not a coincidence, but let me know, especially if you're an international viewer, have you seen similar suppression and similar accusations and targeting in your countries? I'd be fascinated to hear, and I would include them in updated commentary as well. Thank you again for taking the time to tune in. Again, I know it's ambitious, but we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September. So if you could click that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, all of the comments help the channel grow and develop, and the feedback is much appreciated, whether it's critiquing how I can improve my speaking abilities, or it's suggesting new software where we can do picture-in-picture in real-time production, so we can incorporate some of these clips into the production of the show as well. All the feedback is greatly appreciated. And of course, leaving a like also helps with the algorithm and gets more people to tune into the show, and it helps out as well. Also, and lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.